This is TMI this morning on ITV. And on this segment, it's about 2023 elections, matters arise. And don't forget to mention also what INEC is envisaging, and they are prepared for it. They are saying, in case it goes into runoff, we are ready because over 90 million ballot papers have been printed already, waiting for 23 elections, presidential, governorship, NAS, State of Assembly, you just name it. INEC says they are set. But the big question now is, do you think it's going to delve into that runoff? The political party is saying that there'll be no need for a runoff election because they're going to win, landslide victory. Yeah. That's what the same political party is saying. Don't forget to mention also Wike being in the mix. He chose to tell Nigerians how he got the money he's been spending in the Rivers State. Is that going to have an impact in 2023 election? So you guys have been wondering how this money came about. And he said since 1999, the money has been given to us in the Niger Delta region. Mr. President has given it to us, hence I used mine in this capacity. That sounds like an eye-opener to other Niger Delta states. Questions are beginning to pop up. Do you think that we can come to have an impact also in the election? I have analysts with me in the studio to throw more light on this. I want to start my introduction from my immediate left. He is a vibrant youth, a political analyst, political affairs commentator. Join me to welcome Idris Zakari. Idris, welcome to TMI.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate your coming.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right. And so very close to him, he is a legal practitioner, a political analyst. Join me to welcome Gabriel Ehigato. Welcome. Appreciate your coming.
Thank you, Wilson. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right. You get to hear put food on the table. You won't see all this happening. Koro Osaho Obaraya, calling the voice of the masses. Welcome to TMI. So
thank you so much, my brother Wilson. God bless you for inviting me again.
All right.
Good morning, listeners and viewers at home.
Yeah, Derek Unwago would have been here with us in the studio, but an emergency came up. Really needs to take care of the family front. He just have to do that. Not to worry. Maybe, just maybe next week, he'll be here with us. Talking about Derek Unwago. Well, gentlemen, it's all about the 2023 election. And after that, we will dive into the presence of Chinese police station in Nigeria. Before that, let's take a dive into what really concerns every Nigerian about the election. INEC is like saying that, look, should there be a runoff? We are ready. The big question now is, are they envisaging a runoff in the election? I want to start from you, Okoro Osaho Obaraye. What do you feel about this?
Thank you so much. If INEC does also start envisaging or planning for a plan B in the forthcoming election, it goes to show that they are ready for optimal failure. The truth must be told. You cannot also just start planning for a party during the dry rainy season, not also just say, should the case there is rain. So why can't we also just get canopy by the sides there, so that even though it did not rain, but I think there's a plan B. So preparing for, should the case there's a runoff, is a welcome development, so that not when it now get to the place where we have to say, okay, let's get a runoff, and you now start preparing when we're not prepared. So I think for the likes of us, we're also expecting, should it also be like that, so that the main thing at the end of the day is to get a very credible election. We cannot just say election free, fair. No, are you getting it now? Because the hiccup would not make it also be free nor fair. But I think credible, something that can stand up to say this was a good election, is what we are envisaging for. And I also want to salute INEC for their seriousness thus far in making sure that the forthcoming election is not just also very credible, but also very welcoming, because this is the first time people are participating en masse and fully. So you should also be expecting it. Before, when you count to say 20 people are standing and maybe 4 or 3 of them are politicians, that was ages. Now if 50 people are standing in Nigeria, you should expect that 48, 49 of them are now politicians. They might not be the practicing one like we, but they are already aware of what it takes. So before, when you have to start begging to say, let's do this, now people are also meeting. People are now aware of, for the very just now, the predicament that would befall you if you don't participate in elections. So INEC should not just joke with that. They should also take it very, very serious, so that when the time comes up for it, we'll also have a blockade. And you also know that where we are now, you don't always just say this is how it's going to be. Citing the case of Kogi elections before now, where the governor that was already at the tail of winning election died before swearing in. So, and INEC was not prepared for that type of issue. So this time they should also prepare for issues like that, so that we will not find ourselves wanting to say this was not in the constitution. How come it has happened? What is now the way forward? And you now have lawyers like my own personal lawyer here interpreting it on the way it's going to favor the Korean market for their own favoritism. So INEC should not be waiting for those type of issue. They should be at alert, so that when the time comes, they can easily block. It's like somebody going to a football match and just going with your first 11, and you don't even plan for, should the case there's an injury, should the case there is something that comes up. So INEC should be prepared for a rerun and also for a by-election. Things like that are what you should prepare for the present day Nigeria that though we know that the issue of ballot snatching and thuggery has died down to the barest minimum, but we can also run away from it, that it can also happen. You cannot just zero it around to say, no, it's not going to happen. Nigeria is bigger than that. Now, no. If you say they are bigger than that, they will also fool you when the time comes to say they are not bigger, because they will just take the risk unnecessarily, and then you'll be caught unaware. So INEC should see how the bureaucracy, how they can best manage the loopholes, so that at the end of the day, if we are supposed to have, if we are expecting, let's say, 100 over 100 in the election, and we were able to score 75 or 80, we can also say, wow, bravo, INEC did a very great job. So, but not we trying to struggle to score 30, 40%. INEC should also be aware that the possibility of them also getting electoral materials to all units, all places, should not be what they should be excused about. Right. They should get helicopters, get speed boats, get everything to make sure.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, because they are a former president, we saw him on boat few weeks ago. Are you getting it now? Yes. Canoeing to his own abode. So think of it that was a voting center. So INEC should also be ready to canoe to the place where our people can get their ballot papers done. INEC should be prepared.
Okay, but this is the first time INEC will tell Nigerians that they are ready for run-off election. Has it got into that, Barrister Gabriel?
Well, for me, INEC have done very well in the few past elections that we have had. Over time, the credibility of INEC have always been into the question box, where we see issues of, ballot box snatching here and there, where we see security agencies even conniving with INEC and all kind of rascality when it comes to elections. But for INEC to be boasting this time to say they are ready, we need to view them well with a microscope. We need to actually look at it. Is INEC ready? We need to go back to a review of their budget for this election, because this is a general election. This is not a local government election. It's an election where, where voting are going to be taking place all over the country at the same time. So what is the readiness of INEC? To me, I feel that we should question that. INEC should come out with more blueprint to show to all that they are really ready. Talking about a rerun election, I mean, we are seeing the way rerun election in this country have always been. Some of those elections are always rigged.
No, they call it runoff.
No, that's called, okay, call it a runoff election. Yes,
because it's a runoff election.
Most of them always ring. So we are, for me, I'm doubting the readiness of INEC. And although I salute their courage in those few past elections, but is the INEC really ready? That's the question. But for INEC to tell us they are ready, I think we should view them well and scrutinize their readiness. Because if you take a critical look at it, there are some of the logistics that are still not available. When you go to INEC portal, for example, you will see a lot of, upgradedness here and there. If you go to INEC portal this week and you go there next week, what you are going to see next week is going to differ from what you see this week. So that's the readiness of INEC. But we hope that for them to be boasting this time, because to me I call it boasting, that they are ready. We just truly hope that we are going to see a better election this time. Because an average Nigerian is becoming more politically enlightened. An average Nigerian is a person who has become more of a politician than even the practicing politician. Average Nigerian is in the street. So he is very cunning with the basic principle of our political dealings. So to me, I think I need to step up their game.
Stepping up their game, Zachary. It's like they're having this fear because of, with due respect to the 18 political parties, but it's like 3 are like outstanding. Does it mean that there may not be a clear-cut winner in this election?
It is easy to see that there is more in this election than we have had in the previous past, in the immediate past. You just have to look at the players and understand the issues as they are. This is the first time our election is not a 2-horse race. It's like more like, if you look at it at first glance, it's a 3-horse race. But if you take a second look at it, it becomes a 4-horse race.
4-horse race.
Yes.
Could you please throw more light on it?
Yes, I'll do that. Just now, we have the PDP, we have the APC, and then we have the new wave, the Labour Party. And then, you may, because we are in Edo State, the popularity may not be so high here in Edo State, but you have NNPP, Rabi Musa Kwankwanso, that I have told people in the past, in the course of our discussion, that I can hit my hand on the chest and tell you that NNPP will win in Kano. I'm not campaigning for that. I don't even support them.
But you're not INEC, so we don't know if they're going to win or not.
No, from predictions, permutations.
But it can be wrong.
Yes,
Okay.
they can be wrong, but you can feel the pulse, you can feel the drive. So now, when you have a 4-horse race, it becomes difficult for one candidate to get the constitutionally required 25% in 25 states. 24 states. The lawyer I said, so maybe you correct me where I'm wrong. So 20, that is the crux of the matter here. It then means that even if you have majority votes, you have not won. You still have to score 25% of the votes in 24 states. That is going to be the joker. So if you look at the areas of strengths and areas of weaknesses, you see the Northeast, you see the Northwest. Usually you would concede it to maybe PDP or APC because they are very popular in those areas. You see the North Central, Labour Party, PDP, APC in those areas. South, Labour Party, maybe partly APC. Southwest, APC, Labour Party. Southeast, Labour Party and others. You see that there is no candidate that can conveniently stand today and say I'll get 25% of the votes in 24 states of the Federation, including Abuja. That is where I think INEC have already foresaw. They don't want to fall into the ditch. They have already foresaw and they are preparing towards it. But I think Nigerians have the final say on these matters. In the next election, our consideration must go beyond ethnicity and religion. So much so that let it not be that you are voting for any candidate because the candidate you feel it will favor you. Look at what will favor Nigerians. So that if we concentrate our vote along certain lines, it will make the job easy for INEC and it will reduce the risk of manipulation. I must be very honest with you, once it comes to a runoff election, because that's what you get. When you don't get 25% 24 states, they pick the first person and the second person according to the law, and they do a runoff. Then anybody who scores simple majority of votes in that runoff becomes president. I must tell you that it will no longer be an objective election by then. religion and ethnicity will now play even more influence. That is why we must get it right at the first ballot. So Nigerians should reconsider. If you are going to vote a man because it's from your religion or because it's from your tribe, remember that your tribe does not populate 24 states in the 24 out of the 36 states of the Federation. And you cannot sufficiently get 25% of the vote for your candidate. So let them streamline their vote and let's focus on this first ballot. Let's get it right. The next man who will take this country from where we are now, we're in a very difficult situation. There's no doubt about it. To where we want to be. And that should be the whole idea as we go into the next election.
All right. Now, talking about 25% of 24 states, do you mean that it is not a reality? Is that the reason why INEC is making preparation ahead of time?
No, even though if it's a reality and it's not a reality, I've told you, for you to embark on a journey, you must get yourself prepared on that journey. When you called me yesterday to say I should be with you this morning, I forgone other evening activities I'm supposed to go because I know I've been very weak in the morning not to be sharp at brain here. So yeah. I have to forgone that, then rest on time, then wake up on time too. Are you getting it now? But if I said no, let me just go and maybe go clubbing and enter my place around 3-4 this morning. Even if I'm going to be here this morning, I'm going to be very dizzy and weak. Are you getting it now? So what INEC is doing is prevention of anarchy in case of if it now happens, people will not start blaming them. So it is better it happens that INEC is on the safer side. Talking about the 25 or 24 votes on the state, definitely INEC knows that might happen. Okay, should the case it does not happen, they say, are we also ready? Are we not going to start issuance of a contract for the next ballot paper for the other face off?
Just two
so why not let us not get things right before that point in time? So to me, INEC has done well. Just also notice that politics in Nigeria is still growing. It's a growing process. What INEC is doing now was not done in 1999. Neither 2003, 2007, 2011. I get it now. I cited a case where a governor won and we were preparing for swearing and he died. I get it now. And naturally, that cause on its own have to now make our lawyers go back to the drawing board because we've not seen that before. And I'm sure if it happens again now, it will not be hard because it has happened before. So INEC is also preventing to say if this one now happens. We are also thanking God now that we are in the military era. The likes of we'll also be saying, what about the 1993 election? That after everything, after preparing the food, it was time to serve, and they told you that this food that was well cooked is spoiled, it should go away. Are you getting it now? So if you must prepare yourself for whatever you are doing. So what INEC is also doing now, to me, it's on the right path. They should get themselves prepared because I've told you what I said before. And thank God my brother say I'm marrying nearly the same person. Said that unlike before where politics was for the few, now it's not for the few any longer. If you belong to a family of 30 now, my brother, I'm telling you that about 20 something of that family.
They're politically inclined.
Yeah, and they might also be on the same political platform. Are you getting it now? And their resting hours, what they do is to tell you about their candidates. Are you getting it? So if INEC does not prepare for that type of volume, because also notice now that the next election, the participatory participant is going to be very high. Don't let anybody tell you that. It's going to be very, very high. From the blast of the whistle to the final blast of the whistle, it's going to be Operation Show your card, what you can do. So what INEC is doing, to me, my brother, is on the safer side for us to get ourselves, not because also notice that this election we are going to do now is not a president coming back. We have a president that is tenure is expiring constitutionally. Are you getting it now? So for you to have that, you have to be very, very wary. You have to be very, very sure not to go and make mistake on that, because Nigeria is still on the preparation and cooking process, election, progress, and in all. So INEC should not be the one that will give the military or give people the way it out to say, I think these people are not ready for election. Because plus or minus, INEC cannot, because of them, give Muhammadu Buhari a week to say he should still be a president after May 29th. They don't have the rights. So they should do everything within that reach, even for the days, because 90 days or 60 days before that day, Nigeria should know the next president. INEC should not want to change it to say 15 days. Now Nigeria, you are already breaking laws and making the thing not bearable. So we should not put INEC on their toes. What we should just do to them is to make sure they get everything well prepared for the forthcoming election. So that, because if we joke with it and allow INEC spoil the bat and the child, that is the end of this system we are enjoying now. I get it. Now then we now give the military chances to do what they're not supposed to do for security reasons. I get it. Now, so we must not also say INEC is not ready. No. At this time, we need INEC support. INEC can support. Because if we also joke with INEC now, say, okay, they are not also ready, and the time for Buhari has expired, there's no vacuum in government, for crying out loud. So what we need to be telling INEC now is that whatever you are doing, INEC, please do it well. Because there is no vacuum in government. Also be aware of the days and numbers. So INEC should be more aware of days and numbers of that is now remaining, because we speak now, we're about 90-something days to go for the election itself proper. And now, due to the litigations, days count now. As we are going now, days count. There are issues now that you can no longer bring before the court again. Now you cannot go and bring as we speak for the very just now.
Yes.
Say I'm taking Wishamasa to court for the primaries we did then. Nobody will open that page for you again. It's past. No. So INEC should also be wary not to go and spoil the dance that we want to dance come February. All of us are ready for the election. Yes, we are ready. Nigerians are ready. The enthusiasm is high. People want to go. People want to vote. People want to participate. So by the time INEC is aware of the numbers they are expecting, they should also make the place bearable. We are talking about INEC. I will also talking about the security. Okay. Because it's one thing for INEC to get the food ready, and if there's no security and assurance, people might not also come out.
Okay.
Southeast as a case study. Okay. And even some parts in the north.
I'll come back to your Barry. A party said, INEC, there's no need for runoff. Forget runoff. We're going to clear the table. It's going to be a landslide victory for us. What do they say about that? I wouldn't want to mention the party's name, but it's there on the page of the newspaper.
You see, you mentioned the name, you didn't mention it. We all know the party. We all know the party. But the power belongs to people. The sovereignty of this country belongs to the people. The people have to decide who should rule them, the party to win. And I think that's why INEC is ready and talking. I'm preaching the gospel of a runoff election, because there no such scenario may occur. The people are ready. Their enthusiasm is high. I mean, I think what INEC need to do more, as I will let's say before, is that they need to enlighten people more on how to vote. A lot of voters cards are lying fallow at INEC office. So the enthusiasm to register was there. Now we need another real enthusiasm to go and collect your voters card. A lot of people do not have voters card. People shouting APC, PDP, and the rest of that. Most of them do not have their voters card ready. So at the end of the day, we go back to INEC and start saying INEC have not done their job. So the people are going to decide who's going to win this election with their voters card. The enthusiasm is very high. The level of participation so much will be very commendable. So we expect that people should take the bull by the horn and do the needful this time, because 4 years is very long. After now, before we have another general election, to change the status quo, it's going to be another 4 years. So for me, I think the political party that is boasting that go clear the table, they must have done their own work. They must have, have a arranged drawing board, a blueprint, to be able to converse to the people and win their heart, and appeal to their consciousness in order to get their vote. But if not, the truth is this: truth is a naked wound that everybody can see. Because whatever is happening, the state we are now is a state we need to, to come out of. And only the senior-minded politician, the senior-minded political class can take all away from there. So we just wish that their wish come to power. But if not, power belongs to the people.
Power belongs to the people. Zachary, over to you. Say that we're going to clear this election. No need for a runoff. Is as easy as, just get it and move on.
Yes, it's okay to have those kind of thinking. Everybody, all political parties should be optimistic about their chances. Any serious political party should be optimistic about his chances in the election. But the truth is out there. I'll give you a quick example. Let's take Kano, for example. Let's break it down on it. You have 4 major political parties. If they must, for anyone to claim victory in the general election, let's assume they need 25% in Kano, for example. It then means you have to take a ruler and divide Kano into 4 places and allocate each to each political party. Since we know this is not possible, it then means at least 2 of the 4 political parties will not get 25% in Kano. Same with even our own Edo here. You go to Lagos, it's nearly the same thing. There is no clear-cut dynamic. There's none of the political players as of today that has the kind of cult following that President Buhari had in 2015. We have one who has a lot of enthusiasm, and of course that's enough. There's a lot of movement around that person, but the kind of cult followership that was consistent, none has it. As a matter of fact, some of the political presidential candidates now have baggages that are mitigating and militating against their aspirations. So that will clear it is a good thing. I wish it happens that way, but we must also prepare our mind. And that's why we need to build bridges across now. Don't just focus on your area alone. I watched on TV a candidate saying, don't vote for Igbos, don't vote for Yorubas, only vote for people from a certain section of the country. Those kind of thinking will not work on the long run, because when there is a runoff, you discover all of a sudden that place you think you are banking on will no longer give you the numbers. And election is a game of numbers. So we must, as it were, like my brother said earlier, we must encourage INEC. They are doing their best. They are giving it a good shot. Thank God for beavers. So let me also use this opportunity to educate the youth who are merchants of trouble and misfortune, that it will no longer be business as usual. If you snatch ballot box, you are wasting your time. That vote will not count. Whoever sent you to risk your life like that, maybe the children are even abroad. So that vote, it will be a waste. And if you die free. So it's better you don't even anticipate or try out something in that region. And so many other vices that the beavers will take care of, that the voters registration has taken care of, that voters card will take care of. I think at this level, what we need to be doing is voter education. People should come out, vote for the candidate of your choice. And when you are voting, when you are casting that vote, please eschew my tribe, my religion, my family member, my part of the country. Think best of the candidate that can serve this country at this time. When you have a sickness, you don't take your body to the mechanic or to the lawyer like my friend. You go to the doctor. It's only when you have police case now that you call it, am I right? That you call it.
You call a barrister.
You call the lawyer.
Yeah.
So please, we are in a medical, should I say political situation that requires almost the surgical attention to get us out. We are in serious trouble. I don't want to sound pessimistic, but we are in really serious trouble as a nation. Imagine a country where we are borrowing to fund, to even pay salaries. We are borrowing to pay debt. We are borrowing to fund, to service our debt. So we need people who can, not people, because there will only be one president. We need someone who can pull us back from that brink. Otherwise, the present exodus of young people we are seeing from Nigeria to countries like Bahrain, Oman, where people live, to Libya, to Algeria, places that are even worse than Nigeria. People are living because they know when they get there, food will not be a problem. It will just be a tip of the iceberg. It will get worse. But I pray that will not be our portion.
Okay. Okay, well, that is on the part of INEC. They have the reasons. You people say that yes, it's good for them to be prepared. Okay, fine. Now, if you take a look at the events making the round, because it's all about the 2023 election, Governor Wike Yes, made a revelation according to so many persons. Because people like asking, where is this man getting the money from? Does he want to Grand Rivers State? He came out to say something. I mean, people like said it's going to affect the outcome of this election. He said all these things you're seeing, the flyovers, the infrastructure, me appointing over 200,000 SSA and SA and the rest of them, is from 13% derivation given to my state by President Muhammadu Buhari. He said right from 1999, the ones that were given to them, a accumulation of 8 that is what he used in doing all this. Abari, do you think that comment alone will have a landmark impact in the outcome of the election?
Not that comment alone. The man Wike is a striking force in the forthcoming election. I get it now. As we speak now, Wike has gone out to be the most talked about politician, not governor, the most talked about politician in Nigeria as we speak for the very just now. Wike is even tweeting more than some presidential candidates or some political parties. The reason is because the man has been able to give governance a true picture of what governance looks like. This is somebody, Wike is not in my party, so I'm not here to. This is somebody that has worked in his second tenure even far better than some governors work in their first tenure. This is a man that is joking and playing with flyovers as if it's a tea party game. This is a man that is joking with stomach infrastructures as if he's just to eat akara and bread. So to me, Wike should be applauded. But before I discuss on Wike, let me close up my issue about INEC. INEC should also let people know now how to vote. I've been participating in elections since 1999. I want to also make a confession again to my brother that on election day, the void vote is always more than the normal vote. And the same people will just speak English for you, tell you everything, tell you, don't worry, we will do it. And you just watch that same person going after ballot paper, taking his or her hand off the line or to the logo of the party. After all the English, after all the stress, people that still does that in election are even more than people that know how to vote.
Exactly.
So many. And they speaking, their English is always small. So you are scared to even lecturing them because they're the one lecturing you. But in election, immediately you give it to them, they are not under duress, under stress. They will just go put it either at the logo or offline. Under that, so you see that the stress of discussing with this person since is of no use any longer. So INEC should also come up, ITV should come up. people should help us sensitize people on how to vote. Not just to go and collect your PVC. After collecting it on that election day, you left all every other thing you want to do to say you want to vote today. And at the end, your vote is null and void. So to me, it's like somebody, a pregnant woman after 9 months, just on her own, spoil the pregnancy. So for that, so let's go back to my man of the year, Wike.
Your man of the year?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Wike, what has Wike been able to do now? Wike has told you, you people were saying, Wike stashed money here, Wike did this, that, thank God we didn't even give him the ticket. Just in a week, Wike invited my leader, Commander Salih Oshomole, to come and commission a project. As if that was not enough, he invited Obi. And you know Obi now, and the one that is contesting Labour Party.
Okay.
He also invited him to come and commission project. And if all that was not also enough, he invited President Muhammadu Buhari. Different people, different party, different persons, just to come and different projects. He has been doing it since over 6-8 months. And now, since this man is not so fed up of project, and what people now also talk about him is, where does he see his money from? And how come a man will just tell you, and Julius Berger built? I've not heard of that in Edo since 1999. And Julius Berger built and gave me the keys. And to me, that's If I'm a civil engineer, I want to tell you geospatial built, you should know that it's not what you should joke with, because geospatial is like the Dumaze of way back. The road of Dumaze, the road like Apapava, they are still dirty dates. They don't make mistake when doing road. So we were thinking maybe it's because the man has told you since 1999 the federal government seized money that was accrued to South states, and President Muhammadu Buhari released such, and as we speak, our neighboring state, Delta State, got about 142 billion. That governor borrowed money few weeks ago. As we speak, my state where I came from collected 17 billion from federal government, and my governor is telling you that federal government roads, he doesn't want to touch it, and the one he's going to do, truck of 30 tons should not pass it. Imo State collected 10 billion. As we speak, the crisis there, 10 billion cannot solve it. Abia collected 5 billion, Lagos 4 billion, Akwa Ibom 91 billion, Bayelsa 87 billion, Rivers State 83 billion. Rivers did not carry first year. But how come Rivers is joking with projects in this place? And we still have 7 governors. Nearly all of them in this that we are reading now. About 5 of them are on the same political platform. About 5 of them. And I think the one who can also take out from there is Lagos State, who to me is also doing things to say the place is good. Imo will tell you because of sit at home on Monday and the crisis, so nothing is happening in Imo. And those same thing, we should not shy away here to say because I'm no. Because we are comparing, if these facts were not there, I think some of us would have been pitying to say, no, Edo is a civil service state, so how come they're going to see such an amount of money? But for 87 billion to enter into this place, and what we still hear is that don't worry, things will be better. Don't worry, things are going to be good. And there's a governor in one place that has said, after now, in January, you will see 1 flyover. In February, you are going to see 2 flyovers. And as we speak, the over 200,000 unit advisors that he has appointed have started receiving money. So one governor is doing this, and others are still complaining. Not just complaining about the president. That Buhari is not good. He does not do it because the man does not talk. But a governor that is your friend, it's like my lawyer now telling me, this is no longer secret. It's everywhere. People are now asking, where is our own share of the 13%? And our governors are mute because what has happened to them was unbelievable. Then you are telling me this will not change the facet. It's going to change, my brother. Okay. What Wike has done is to politically open the eyes of those that were blind to sacrifice and complaints about a government. Now, do you even know we should be factored to ourselves that a serving minister in Edo was complaining that he did not see the governor of the state did not give him a land to build hospital. That is the reason why he has not worked. If all of us just say Buhari is not good, you are not also asking where are the ministers? Okay. Minister Prince Claire Maba, as we speak, is tying road in Edo North as if he's a local government chairman or a governor. Okay. Then we have one here telling you he does. Don't his own house can't he convert that to the hospital?
I'll come back to you. Calm down. This is why I say watch your emotions, gentlemen. Watch your emotions. Barrister Gabriel. I mean, this man Wike choose to say, look, if I want to go out, I have to go out banging. And it's revealing so many things. He talked about today, presenting the revision. That's what we need to work, because people have been doubting. They've been asking questions. Where did you get this money from? And he said, look, forget that I'm in opposition. We're praying that the ruling party shouldn't do well, but I just can't help but to say the truth. Since 1999, this is the money that I've been used to do all this things I've been doing, and we have other governors in the Niger Delta region. Talking about the forthcoming election and the Wike's revelation. Take it up from there.
Well, one very interesting aspect of this whole scenario since Wike made such statements, there will never be any counter.
No, they can never be.
Whether from a sitting governor or a former governor. I keep saying it and I will say it again. That the governors, they are the greatest political enemy in terms of social development of the people.
That's just the truth.
The governors are too powerful to be questioned. Our constitution have empowered the governors.
You use the word the governor, but which is government is working.
Yes.
So I'm
telling you the procedures.
Let's use some governors, not the governors.
They're still to be too powerful to be questioned. We can have let the cat out of the bag, and we can have beat his chest to say that take me anywhere. I will quote what I've stated before and let everybody come out and deny it. And for the past few days, sir, the internet has been shaking. Nobody have come out to say, Wike, you lied. Nobody. Not even a single governor. Not even some of the governors who are even his friends. Not even one of the G5 governors have come to deny that fact. It's very unfortunate. Wike is playing with project here and there, as if Rivers State is the only state that received the 30% on year derivation and what have you. So we don't know. I think we need to question our governors. We have a governor that's not too far in North Central here who cannot pay his workers. We have another governor saying want to be is going for a vice presidency, whose the roads in the state are so bad that even the commoners are not the pensioners are not campaigning against him and say you have not done well as a governor, therefore you can never be vice president. So I'm happy that people are reawakening their social consciousness politically to drive away these EU mass governors who are taking us backward. Just like Obayaye said, I don't want to even go into the issue of the minister who is saying that the governor didn't give you the land to build. We don't even know if such minister exists because the party is not fair at all. The same claim you are talking about. No.
I would just to mention names.
Okay, we won't mention names. But the same minister for budget we are talking about approved the construction of a road in Edo South, where it's not even from. So I'm not surprised they're doing such road in Edo North, where it's from. So it is very clear to all of us that the governors are killing this country.
You are generalizing because the governor is working.
Who is working?
You can use the term some governors.
No, some governors.
Not all.
The governors are so few. The governors are so few. Even the work that Wike have done, I've even covered some work that some governors were doing in the northern Nigeria. So you say we should make sure that I don't want to make sure that, but we're not there. Those governors were very over-hyper at their first tenure. Not in the second tenure, we are probably not even seeing anything there at all. So to win, Wike have done well for his people, and it will forever be written in gold, forever be remembered. And Wike has set the standard. He has shown that there is money governance. He has shown that governance is all about the people. So the primate of Wike in terms of governance is a standard that every other person is going to stand for. And I must tell you, in this coming election, a lot of people are going to be disappointed. A lot of political parties are going to be wiped out in the state, where they will not even have a member of the House of Assembly, because we are seeing that governors ought to be about the people. And yes, we can set such standard, and he's a good man. Take it or leave it, like it or not.
Take it or leave it, like it or not. He's a Wike. But you guys are not member of his party. Anyway, we'll come back to that because from reports right now, he's not supporting his party's candidate. He has good reason for that. Some are saying we don't have much allocation from the federal government, that there is a reduction in allocation, hence we cannot work. But here is a governor saying, in a way, indirectly, it's not true because it's working. I mean, do you think it's going to affect the electorate's choice in choosing the next ruler of the state?
For media correctness, I would not want to travel the emotional lane, but we are going to speak to facts. He quoted the figures now as released 13% derivation to the various states. Delta got the highest, 140-something billion naira. A governor in that state has borrowed 150 billion, and just now is borrowing another 50 billion. Now, this cannot be wrong because These are facts. He made it, sent the bill to the State House of Assembly for approval. So you got this money. First of all, when people want to steal, they refuse to declare what they receive, right? That's the first recipe for stealing, when you refuse to declare what has come to you. If Wike had not said that 13% derivation that has been arrears of 13% derivation since 1999 has been released to Niger Delta governors, and he mentioned states specifically: Edo, Delta, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Rivers, Cross River is no longer Ondo, Imo, Abia. We will never have known that these gentlemen received this money. And the question comes, this money that was paid to these governors, is it their money? And the answer is simple: no. That money was paid to you in trust. That is one aspect. So, having gotten this amount of money, you are still borrowing your state out of the world map. How can wickedness be more than that? That said, let's bring it home. We are here in Edo State because we must be able to interrogate our leaders. Edo got a portion of this amount, a significant portion. Where is that money?
17 billion.
17 billion. Which project has that money been dedicated to? Where has that money been budgeted? Why is it that in our budget there is a nebulous term called economic enablers that they budgeted 56 billion to? What is the meaning of economic enablers? So when you put 56 billion in a project, capital expenditure 48 billion, recurrent expenditure about 7 billion, and you call it economic enablers, which road, which flyover, which school, which university, which hospital is called economic enablers? Because there are roads in the budget, there are schools in the budget, there are other things in the budget. Economic enablers for Mr. A will not be the same economic enabler for Mr. B. You're a journalist. Your economic enabler is your laptop and wherever you get your information from. Am I correct? I am a public speaker. I am a business person. My economic enabler might be good road for me to transport my goods through. Correct? So why will a governor budget 56 billion for economic enablers without expressly stating what economic enablers mean? Avenues to steal.
Well, you cannot say it's an avenue to steal.
You
understand? Hold on. Zachary, if you want to further, maybe I'm going to invite the commissioner for information to come and fill that. So it's not good for us to generalize.
It's important. I still have my time. Yes, I'm not generalizing. Yes. And that's why I say avenue. I did not say he has stolen. There's still a room for you to backtrack. We don't want that 56 billion to develop wings and fly away.
Okay.
That is why we say it is an avenue to steal, so that they don't even try it in the first place. Now, if you are writing a budget, you are writing it for the consumption of the people. Am I correct? Because the budget is meant for the people. You are budgeting for me and my friends and Edo people, 5 million of us living in this geographic entity called Edo State. Whatever you are writing in the budget should be understandable to even the market woman. It means anybody who has even basic education, secondary education, should be able to take the budget, read it, and understand what is written in it. What is the meaning of economic enablers? It's an open challenge. Anybody who knows the meaning can come and explain to the rest of us.
Okay. Well, it's still about the comments of Wike, and of course, INEC said there might be a possible a runoff in this election, and they are prepared. But from all this, can one deduce that Buhari is not the problem? People have been saying that Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President, and now the governor came out to reveal that, look, this man has given us the money. Obarai.
Thank you so much, my brother Wilson. One good thing you cannot take away from Wilson and Master is that you are extremely very, very good. But I can see that you are trying to save your job. And for you to be saving your job in a sane society goes to show failure of system. You are trying to save it. That's true. But for you to be trying to save your job in a sane society goes to show that there's a crack somewhere. So there's no way you can say wash your emotions when you are talking about things that are not good. He told you about economic enablers. I was expecting that you just check Google. You have your mobile. What is economic enablers? When Wike wanted to also do project, what we understand, he said he want to appoint. It's a simple thing. 200,000. 200,000. That is, he said so. So you now know, okay, he appointed 200,000 persons. And maybe you don't want to behave like Wike to say the way Wike did it. Wike is a very local person. I want to use my own. You not say no, me I'm not appoint you. I want to make my economic enablers. From now, Edo will now have what it's called economic enablers that will help us drive economic from government as to the people. We now also understand. Okay, tomorrow when I now see Mr. Imafidon Maswe there, he's now economic enabler. So I'm not calling to congratulate him to say, my brother, glory to God, you are now one of the enablers. So it's a simple thing. But by the time you want to, what kills our leaders the most is that they don't read books, and they don't even know that they don't also have the time again to read. That they make jobless, we don't have any other issue. In our closet, when we are sleeping, even with our phones, what we do is to read
constantly. So
because we now read, when you make the English, you don't just mock. When I saw coming to a grape and sorting bill, I say, oh wow, this person is a new fight. This person doesn't even understand what it takes.
Obaraye, please, let's go to the question, please. That's the question.
You still try, don't worry. Everything will be okay. When the society is good, you will not save it again. The truth remains. What Wike has said since I was expecting some people that know how to hit below the belt, to hit Wike, to say you lied. I didn't collect 7 billion. What I collected was TV, or I didn't collect at all. They will now, our lawyers will now help us
to go to
say, since Wike said, and this person denied, the court will help us know who is lying and who is saying the truth. So may God bless Wike for this, because of us we're really thinking that there was so much money that he stole. But now, even though let's say he stole, but we now know how he stole it, that it was President Muhammadu Buhari that paid such money. And if we be speaking ill about the said president, I think Wike has also changed the narrative since yesterday. Because Wike said we had a South governor there, president there. Did he answer us?
No.
He said so. I'm quoting Wike now. He said, so how come you people are saying, you know that he's trying to support you? That's the way a politician should talk. He didn't tell you he's supporting, but has the man done something? Yes. He did, and he paid us our money. And it's not left for the governor, 2 hours of assembly, to make use of that money judiciously for the commonwealth of those people. For the commonwealth of them, for their benefit. So if our governors, our president decide to cook for us a buffet, when it got to the turn of Rivers, Wike said, no, the president has prepared this food. What I want to do, I will use it for 200,000 persons per unit. That you are saying it's political, but already, it's already passing through somewhere. For 200,000 persons in a state to get stipends from now to 6 months, Wike has done well.
That's a major.
You don't hide it. Wike has done well. 200,000 persons to get stipends for 3-4 months. Wike has a power close to 1 million persons in that place. Those 200,000 persons, a minimum of them has 5 persons. A minimum has 5 persons to themselves. Wife or brother, sister or friend, that is already a follower. So that's to say, Wike is at least feeding 1 million persons. Why we still have some state governors that is using cement and sand dug from nearby gutters to repair roads, when billions was spent on this issue? Why we still have some state governors that will tar road on a Monday, rain will fall on a Wednesday, it will wash it all out on a Sunday, just a weak project? Why we still have a state that does not have what it takes to checkmate illegal increase in fuel? To say, I bought fuel 180 at Alex O, Mobile Road, or Pastor Mobile. Then that same person in that same state drives to Iriri, Iyekoba, is buying for 225, 250 in a state. There's supposed to be a policy to checkmate those things. If we cannot also get from the economic blast, also get from what Buhari sent to us, the little one that is here, help us also manage the system. Let us also know that things are done this way. My brother, for about 11 days ago, not up to, robbers struck at New Benin.
Broad daylight.
New Benin market. That is my hood. We say, you cannot run past that place any day, anytime freely. Because of, no matter how decent it is, no matter the day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you cannot just manipulate that. Not to talk of standing and robbing And up to date as we speak, up to date, just the way Wike spoke, nobody has told us, and it was robbery attack, and it, as we speak to date. And my brother, there's a security in Edo.
Yes.
Okay.
We've been singing.
All right.
These people, when I look for something for them, give them something.
Okay.
Give them something.
To do. Okay.
Now, Buhari has brought some. We didn't say the one you take your security voter. No. The one Buhari brought. Buhari brought, my people, on a good money, Buhari bought 17 billion. This 17 billion. We want to invest 1 billion into Edo State security architecture. Let it be a place comfortable. At least the minimum person be paid 25,000 or 30,000 more.
All right, Obara.
So that at the end of that day, as they were stealing, I would just go to Wisi. Do you know now if you call vigilante, you pity them because why are you calling them? The person you are calling is a man like you who has left his own comfort to make sure you have peace. You want to call that person they are robbing you?
Okay.
So to me, my brother, listen, God will continue to bless you if you also give us time. I know what you are passing through. I get it now.
All right, thank you.
No, don't worry. See, the thing you need to leave here today now, don't joke with it. We want to know the meaning of economic
enabler.
Thank you. Not to worry.
Don't hide it under the carpet.
Okay, not to worry. About they'll throw more lights on this. I'm going to have one or two persons, but not for today. Okay. Not for today. Now, the same question I'm going to throw at you. People are saying that is the presidency, is the president, is the ruling party that have been causing all this low revenue, but now we can come out to say this. Barrister Gabriel, does this change the mentality of Nigerians towards Mr. President?
For a while, the presidency has used to have a trap back to their electoral promises. The level of insecurity to some extent have reduced. We could see what the president are also doing. I think just the problem is social infrastructure. Basically, some things we are not actually seeing. I said the issue that will do with the railway constructions and so some of that thing. Now, it's not actually the president that's even the problem this time. It is the people that is around the presidency. The ministers, who most of them are so jobless, they don't have anything doing. Who most of them have given money into their ministry, and we are not seeing the effect. Are you aware? In this country, you must pray to God not to be sick. Because if you go to government hospital, you are very sure 50% that you will die and not survive. Because the instruments are not there to take care of you. So what with medical doctors who do not have instruments, who do not have the enablement in their offices, not run away and go to UK and what have you. So where's the Minister of Health? You know? So there are some certain kind of machines, medical machines you don't even have in this country. But some private hospitals have it. You cannot find a government hospitals. Here we have a minister who says a minister of Health and what have you. So we have governors who squander our money. I do not. In fact, the governors even believe that security vote is their personal money. The governors believe. The Nigerian governors believe over time that security vote belongs to them. It does not belong to the people. And what is security for? Just as the English imply, to create security for the people. You know, to take out the people. And the man is coming and say economic enabler. I've checked my dictionary over time. I've checked the country.
Can we please leave economic enabler? Can we leave it alone?
I've checked the meaning of enabler even in Cambridge, even in legal dictionary. And what I find the word enabler is help. You know, somebody enabling you to enable me to carry to help, enable you to achieve a goal. So what is now economic enabler? And the English is so big, the English is so voluminous that nobody have come to give us a proper explanation. And you expect people not to be offended, you expect people not to be angry. And when you look at the budget, I had that 2 billion is going to be created for building a museum. When you now build the museum, what are you going to put the cartoon? Okay. Are you going to put dummy there? Do you have are you the custodian of the items that you keep in the museum? You answered my
question, Barrister.
No, we'll go back to the question. All of these are past. They are part of the question. So what we are saying on the long run is this. Our governors have finished this country. Our governors are the greatest problem of social development. Our governor had the greatest problem of human capacity building in this country. So I think the National Assembly need to go back to the drawing board. We need to go back to the Constitution. We need to have sessions of constitutional amendment where we can review the powers given to governors. Because we live in a country where governors do whatever they like and they cannot be questioned at all. So it's very unfortunate that we find ourselves in this kind of scenario. But I believe that the 2023 general election, I will go back there again, is a time to keep a revolutionary vote. I call it revolutionary vote. If you do not want this man, vote him out. If you want this man, voting him. That's what is going to happen. And I must also tell you that 2023 general election is going to also create a standard for various elections that are going to come. Because we have had governors, people, politicians who come into power the first tenure, that will work. Second tenure, you will not see anything like that. So subsequently, I'll be a time will come where a governor will occupy a position first tenure. When he works, second tenure will be voted out. Because they are losing trust. We are losing trust in them. So governors must go back to the people. Power belongs to the people.
Absolutely.
Power belongs to the people. And absolute power belongs to the people.
Okay.
So governors must go back to the people
right.
and do what is needful and make sure that they execute the electoral promises.
All right. Mr. President gives security votes to all states in the Federation. Mr. President also gives allocations to various states in the Federation. 30% derivation for the Niger Delta region, the Niger Delta states. And many are saying, Mr. President, everything that is happening is in the hands, the shoulders, the head of Mr. President. With this revelation, Zachary, is it going to change anything?
Let me explain
Yeah.
a few things. I want to get you angry. I'm not going to bridge broadcasting rules, but
Okay.
I just want to make a little bit more revelations. We have 774 local governments in Nigeria.
Yeah.
On the average, each local government gets about 100 million. I've said it here before and I'm saying it again. If you calculate that, that's 77.4 billion naira. Majority of our local governments, majority of our states in Nigeria don't have local government. Edo State inclusive. On a monthly basis, Edo gets minimum, it can be higher, minimum 1.8 billion naira for local government. Who is stealing that money? Okay, sorry. Who is taking that money?
What's your emotions, Zachary?
Yes. Who is taking?
What's your emotions?
When you
because it is not peculiar to Edo State alone.
No, that's why I said the entire nation. I just domiciled it. Let me ask you a question. When you take what is not given to you, what is it called? Stealing.
He knows.
He knows. It's
He knows. We say knows.
We say what to call attempted stealing.
Okay, give it any name. The point is 1.8 billion comes minimum. It can be 2 point something, but let's just call it 1.8 billion every month to our local government. I have not had local government since God knows when. That is one. Secondly, 13% derivation has come to Edo State and to other states. Which project can we point to in our area that justifies that amount of money to show that that money has come into the state? Mr. Wilson, if 100,000, let's suppose if 500,000 enter your house today, enter your hands, I am sure that is part of money that is not your regular source of income. I am sure that your wife, your children will feel the difference. There must be something to show, to say, daddy, something entered daddy hand this period. What are we able to show in Edo State as citizens? That our governor has received 13% derivation. The one that Wike has used to build not one, not two, not three, not 10, 12 new flyovers. On top of that, built a cancer center worth 29.9 billion. Built a law school, Nigeria, a new, brand new, mint Nigerian law school. He's not owing workers' salary. Appointed 200,000 persons. Although I have my issues with that, but he's paying them. They are eating from government, and as we speak, he's not owing any loan. Where is our own equivalent? I'm talking to especially those of us in Edo, those of us in Delta, and elsewhere. At least in Lagos, you may not like the party there, but the governor has a light rate to show, and it's there. It's almost working. Yes. What are we having to show in Edo to justify the amount of money that has entered Edo State? If you see all this, look, the governors, our governors, should have the fear of God. I've said it before. If you don't have the fear of God, that's when you behave in this manner. If Sansan too much for Gary, even the blind will see it. This is already getting too much.
All right.
And we must engage and we must continue to educate our people, because in our election we dey go so. Our people must know that it should no longer be business as usual. This money does not belong to whoever is governor. The office governor is just an office. You are there today, tomorrow you are no more there. We've seen enough former governors to know that you don't need to be spectacular for you to be a governor.
All right, I want to go for a break right now. We'll return. We'll continue with this talk. Wike, his other name right now, according to some clients, is a table shaker. He has shifted blame from Mr. President. Said, look, I have to say the truth. I'm not supporting, but this is what he has done. And talk about the Niger Delta region. You have given money, but I don't know. We'll return. We'll throw more light on this. It's all about the 2023 election with his comments or statements. Change the tides in the election. Don't go away.
TMI. Every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI. I was supposed to delve into the presence of Chinese prisons, police station rather, in Nigeria. But because of the forthcoming election and, of course, INEC readiness for a runoff election, and, of course, still on the Wike factor, all about the election. Some have, tagged him the table shaker. So I'm beginning to call him the truth sayer. Some are calling him the exposer, because the revelation he made over the week, over last week, that the president really is not a supporter of him, but he needs to say the good things Mr. President has done. He revealed that the money accrued to the United States from 1990 date that Mr. President, the backlogs and all that, he has given it to each state in the Niger Delta region, and that is where he's getting the money to execute this project that people are seeing, because questions have been raised. Mr. Governor, how are you able to fund this project? We talk about also 200,000 SA appointed. How are you going to fund it? And I said, look, this is where the money is coming from. And that really opened the eyes of so many persons that people begin to ask questions. What about our states? What about other states in the Niger Delta region? What is going on? And this relation is going to affect the outcome of the forthcoming elections. My analyst will be talking more about this. Interesting, before we went on that break, continue the point you were making.
Yes.
You said you want to get me upset spiritually to make me think.
Yes.
I've been thinking about it, but please watch your emotions.
Yes. I watched them.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you know that somebody is stealing from you, then you will be angry. So I just wanted to make you angry by raising the point, the local government point, the local government money. I use 100 million as a baseline, because there's none that is less than 100. There's actually more. Some local government receive 200 million, some receive 300 million, some receive 400 million. But as a baseline, 100 million. If we use 100 million times the 18 we have in Edo, that's 1.8 billion monthly coming into the state, unaccounted for, unbudgeted, maybe spent, but there is no clarity as to the spending. I've also raised issues as it concerns, I like to talk about it, the fear of God that our leaders don't have. I always talk about, because there's always the God factor in everything. Our leaders don't have the fear, especially the governors. Let me give you a quick example. Can you imagine we have a president and there will be no state governors? How will Nigeria look like? The president will just be an overlord, be leading from Abuja and passing, giving orders, no National Assembly. That's what we have with the governors. The governors who are in charge of conducting local government election and making sure that we have local government chairmen refuse to conduct these elections. And because it's easier to spend their money when there is no local government in office. That's why. That's the whole idea why they don't conduct local government elections. If president does it, because the president is to governors as governors is to local government chairmen. If the president decides to say, there will be no state elections, and he uses his power, because it is constitutional that there must be local government elections, it's only that the governors have refused. They do it. Even when they manage to conduct, the elections are written in government houses. This is a fact. which state have you seen they conducted local government election that the party of the governor they don't win 99.9% of the seats in that election? Which state? Can you point me to one? I think it was just Kaduna that we had one that the state governor, the party of the governor lost. Only one local government out of 30-something local government. In here in Edo State, any governor in power, they write the results. Because you cannot convince me that the 18 local government will all vote your party.
These are just mere allegations. These are mere allegations.
192 councillors.
These are mere allegations, Zachary. We should be very, very careful. This is just mere allegations.
People should have what is not allegation is that these people don't have the fear of God. Because if you have the fear of God, you will not behave in this manner. They should have the fear of God.
All right. Okay. Well, we're about to commence our dissent on this particular discussion, like what all of you agreed to. Yes, it is going to affect the outcome of the election. So, gentlemen, before we call it a wrap on this show, would you want to exonerate Mr. President from all that have been said about him that is the cause of what we are going through after the revelation of Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State? Obara, I want to start off with you.
Yeah, you would have asked another question, because if you had listened, you know that I already exonerated him before this other question. That what Wike has told us is that it's like me telling you that this was what happened between me and my father in our room. And what Wike has said, nobody till now, nobody till now. I think in the state, about 48 hours ago, we heard that the governor wanted to acquire the NUJ. And before you could say Jacobison, people came out to say, no, it's not acquiring, no, it's not. And now Wike has also said something. So what we expected was people to say, no, Edo did not get the $17 billion Wike has said. What Edo got was either zero or Edo did not get at all. Then Ondo will also come out, Imo will come out. But nobody, they've all kept mute. That's to say, and the lawyer will tell you here, the little I know about it is that when you are silent on issues, it means consent. Are you getting it now? Because if I have called you, Wilson, are you the one that took my money and you are still looking at me? Wilson, are you the one that took my money, you're looking at me? That you took my money, you are scared to say yes. So what has happened, Wike has proven to us that truly when the righteous rule, people rejoice. Because I'm not sure that the political enthusiasm in Rivers State now is different from what we have in Edo. Are you getting that? People in Rivers State, they are happy because a few days ago Obi came and they didn't tell Obi that he's not going to use their stadium. The stadium is under construction.
But we go into that, Obara. But we go into that.
We say, I've not told you what happened in ages. I'm telling you what happened. Most of this thing is, if I'm not watching ITV on my television, my bedroom or parlor, I use my mobile. So if I was not here today, I was anywhere, I'll also be watching it live. So whatever I get is I know I will come back to repeat same. Are you getting it now? So whatever I tell you is what people reported to me. Are you getting it now? That the stadium is under test run. Are you getting it now? That if you want to also rent the stadium, you don't just give 48 hours issue. But Wike has said, whenever you know you are ready, or you also just give same, that if you want to come and use it because it belongs to everybody. Our 30% derivation, that 17 billion that came, can give us a standard, a world-class stadium. So the money was not signed for Wilson Marshall only. It was signed for us all. And I think it was not so long ago where the former governor of the state told us that the money used in renovating or constructing the federal road, yes, about 16 billion. That was also returned back. And we have a governor here that is telling us that no trucks will enter Benin because the road they are building, they are not building it for trucks. And those trucks do not belong to people from Mecca. Okay. They belong to Edo people, and they are not bringing food to people to own. They are bringing food to Benin. So you can see that we are already having a governor that is already sharing who to enjoy and not what to enjoy. And this money is getting from.
Thank you.
And my brother also talked about the local government issue.
Thank you.
The reason why we still suffer more here, if there was a local government, everything will not just rest on the governor per se. I think now, I cannot go and call the governor to come and grade Isiwa Street that is near my house. I know if I had gone to the local government to say, this road, please come and help build it. So
our time is up.
God bless you.
Thank you so much for our time is up. You have just 1 minute, Barrister. Quickly.
Yes, I think Oba should calm down. Maybe the 17 billion. Maybe that's what we want to use to feed the Gele seaport. You don't know, or the airport in Edo.
It is not about Edo State only. Other states are involved in this.
To watch his emotions. Maybe that $17 billion is what we used to build the Nigeria University.
17 billion in 2021, not even this year. Not this year.
Maybe that's what we are securing. You don't know. So let's watch and see what they will do with the money. The Gege support may be ready any moment for that for commission. They may use the money. Who knows? So you should leave that for on the issue of President Muhammadu Buhari. I think he was trying to see how he could exonerate himself from all of the political buhaha we have been to.
Yes.
And kudos to him at this time. But I think they needed to do more.
All right. Thank you so much. Zachary, quickly. Our time is up.
Edo people must ask questions about the meaning of economic enablers that we have budgeted, that the governor has budgeted 56 billion for, and several other questions that there is to answer. This conversation will keep going. It will not go away. When we stop here now, we'll continue on social media.
Thank you so much. Well, you've heard them. Wike, the table shaker. He has shaken the table. And people have been talking about it, not only Edo State, Delta State, River State, Imo State, Ondo State. You just name it, the Niger Delta states. Wike did something tangible. What about us? What about others? Have they done the same?
You're watching your emotions too, though.
Is it going to translate on how Nigerians will go out there to vote? Because the election is fast approaching, a lot of elections have been made. As Wike exonerated Mr. President for what he's been accused of not doing. After all, he gave out the money. Security vote, he gave out security vote, he gave out he gave out, come on, is it all about Mr. President? It's a question for everyone to answer. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Appreciate a wonderful analysis. Yes, it's not easy for them to watch their emotions. They did their best to follow rules and regulations governing the airwaves. Bye for now.